Welcome back to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Today, Mike and I are both here, and we're going to be talking about rehabbing, specifically rehabbing rentals, Mike, or rehabbing?
Rehabbing rentals is what I was thinking. Man.
Okay.
I think that's a good topic
like that
for today.
idea.
And we can talk about kind of the differences between rehabbing for rehabs and rehabbing for rentals, because there are some subtle differences.
Okay.
Are we live like you wanted to do, Dave?
No, just recording.
Oh, man. I thought we were
Podcast.
going live.
Told me not to.
I said do it.
Guys, Too late.
This is only for you guys on the podcast. Podcast exclusive today.
That's right.
I love it. All right, so we're going to talk about rehabbing rentals. Let's talk about the big difference between rehabbing to sell a property versus rehabbing to make it a rental property. In my mind, the biggest difference is the finish level, meaning I'm not going to put the same type of materials in my finished products. You still want the same contractor. In my opinion, you still want to use similar contractors with high quality work and affordable rates and the fastest service. Again, you're never going to get all three, but again, you want to use the best contractors you can find. You want licensed electricians. You don't want to have any fire risks or code issues. You want quality contractors. It's mainly, in my brain, comes down to your materials and what you're going to actually do to the property. So material selection. Let's walk through a house virtually, or at least in our brain. And the first thing you walk in and you step on inside the house is the floor. So what kind of flooring am I using in our rentals, Dave? You know the answer to that.
Durable flooring. Flooring that's typically inexpensive, durable, waterproof, hopefully scratch resistant. So we use a lot of like vinyl planks that kind of click in. We also use some peel and stick tile that's groutable for the bathrooms. We try to avoid ceramic because it can break. And we will do some floor refinishing and or hardwoods, but our preferred flooring of choice is vinyl planks that come in, I think, 3-foot planks, and they click together. The coolest part about these is you can cut them with a razor blade. So you do not need any special tools or saws to do, certain areas that may require some unique cuts. You can cut them with a razor blade. So anybody that, is not half retarded can install these, including myself. Sometimes I question myself's ability to do stuff like this, but these are very, very easy to use. And Mike, you know more about this than me. What is the cost of these vinyl planks? I know they probably vary, and then of course you got to pay to install.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the vinyl plank, I like, again, kind of like Dave said, they're very durable. They hold up. They don't get scratched as easily. They don't show the wear like carpet. So again, that was the old thing. You throw the carpet in the bedrooms, or you get cheap carpet for your rentals, but then you end up replacing it, or you're having to clean it. It's just disgusting. Carpet is gross in rental properties. People always have dogs here or cats, even if they're not supposed to. Again, the carpenters just don't do that. We do hard surfaces everywhere. This luxury vinyl plank is a little bit softer because it's vinyl, or it can be.
Right.
So you're going to get just a very, very durable, livable flooring. And it's usually going to cost between $2 and up. We'll just put it like that, per square foot. So $2 a square foot is a pretty decent price. We get some of it on sale, sometimes a little bit cheaper, maybe as low as like $1.50 a square foot. And then we have our guys install it. Like Dave said, all it takes is somebody with a little bit of common sense and a razor. They can cut the floor to fit pretty much anywhere. They can do around the door frames pretty easily. It's much easier than doing tile or any other type of flooring.
And fast.
It is
fast.
fast.
And you only need like one guy to do it, really.
Yeah, I mean,
essentially.
we had our contractor Dale. He did, what was that, gas, 2412 gas. He did the entire upstairs in like 2 days.
Right, by
Like, it's
himself.
super easy to throw, and it looks great. We've got pictures. If you check out our YouTube channel, I guarantee we've got gas on there. By the time you listen to this show, you're going to see that property. So we'll be walking around that one. So that's one of the first things that we do.
The flooring.
Is the flooring.
Usually it's the biggest, the biggest, not necessarily project, but the biggest square footage, in terms of what you're doing. Paint, that's easy. That rolls on. But
Yeah, well, and cost-wise, flooring is expensive.
it is.
Like I said, if it's $2 a square foot, 1,000 square foot house, I mean, it's $2,000 right there just for materials. Then you've got to pay the guys to install it as well. So again, flooring can be expensive, which is why you want to use something that's going to last for more than one tenant. Again, if I was going to sell this house, or we're going to flip it to rehab it, maybe you throw carpet in the bedrooms. Because again, a lot of people like that. It makes it softer. I mean, it's a little bit more livable. People, when they, get out of bed, it's nice, it's warmer when you have wall-to-wall carpeting. So again, a lot of people like carpet in the bedrooms. But
Yeah,
again,
all my college rentals have carpet.
Do they?
In the bedrooms. Really, in most of the house, except for the kitchen and the baths. Everything's carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, but we clean them every year. We've replaced it a couple times, obviously, but I feel like you can get at least 6 to 10 years out of carpet if your tenants don't just destroy
trash
it.
Yeah. I was going to say, it depends on what kind of tenants.
Depends on the tenants, right? But typically, if you're replacing your carpet every 2 to 3 years, something's wrong.
Well, I mean, again, in 6 years out of carpet, that's great. But man, when you're not living there, that 6 years goes pretty quick on your rental.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like we just replaced that.
Right.
And it's couple $1,000s. So again, it's never a fun bill when you have to do it again. And I'm not saying this luxury vinyl. We've only been using it for a few years now. It's advertised to hold up much better, and we've seen it turn over on some of our units. And again, like I said, it's in great shape. So again, we want hard surfaces, easier to clean, quicker turnovers.
Let me ask you this: is it vinyl or is it PVC, and or is that the same thing?
I have
It's
no
above both of our heads, because I sometimes see on the
clue.
packaging whenever I help pick it up and or go to the property and it's sitting there, that sometimes it'll say it's made of PVC.
Is
Either way, it's
PVC
very
vinyl?
durable. I think it's just a type of plastic.
polyvinyl chloride.
Okay, so
Vinyl.
Wow.
Luxury vinyl.
So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. Okay, there you go. That makes
Well,
sense.
similar, for sure.
Yeah.
Scientists, we don't really know what we're talking about. Clearly, it's 1,000 different things.
Hey,
but
C2H3Ci to the nth power, it looks like. That's our formula here. So,
There you go.
either way, luxury vinyl planks are the way to go for rentals. Start with the floors. Nike, what's next? Typically the walls.
I'd say walls, man.
I'd say walls too, man.
So this is what we're going to do in
paint them up.
in every
Clean them and paint them.
Every property we buy, we're ripping out the carpet. We're making sure the floors are flat. We're putting in our luxury vinyl. We're going to paint them. What I recommend if you're going to be doing this to multiple properties, pick the gray that you like the most. Gray is everybody's color right now, unfortunately. So you're going to paint everything gray. But no, pick your gray and stick to it. So whatever gray you're going to use, just keep the same paint color. That way you know what it is when you have to go back into that rental and repaint it. You don't have to repaint everything, or you don't have to repaint it as well. Meaning you don't have to go in and trim everything up again. You can literally just go and roll any of the walls that need some touch-up on it. So again, you pick your paint. We're going to paint everything. The other thing we do, we like to kind of upgrade our light fixtures in all of our rentals. This helps us get a little bit higher appraised values, because what we're doing, we implement the BRRRR strategy. And we buy them, we rehab them, we rent them out, and then we refinance them. So we're trying to increase the value or the appraised value of our properties so that we can get most of our money back. So we like to upgrade our light fixtures. And it's a relatively inexpensive thing that just makes the house look nicer. So mentally, if you walk into a property and you've got a nice vinyl floor that looks like wood, a lot of the times we've got wood pattern on most of ours, and you've got white trim, white doors, gray paint, and a new chrome or bronze light fixture, it feels like a new property. I mean, it feels like it was updated or rehabbed. That doesn't cost that much for bedrooms, guys. This is cheap. Bedrooms, family room, dining room. None of that stuff costs that much money. Again, we're talking flooring, paint, a light fixture in each room, maybe $100 per room.
Yeah, light fixtures are cheap and they make a world of difference. Another thing that can make a house look really not necessarily updated, but make it look cleaner, newer, and worth more money, I think is really what I was kind of looking for. Like, it's going to help on your appraisals, is swapping out those old nasty yellow or off-white outlet covers and outlet switches. Depending on the condition of the actual outlets and switches, you may have to swap those out too, right? Covers are obviously going to be cheaper because you don't need an electrician to do that. You just unscrew 1 to 2 screws.
I'm glad you say that.
1 to 4, maybe even 6 on a big one. Couple screws though, right? In and out. Doing the actual switches and the outlets themselves. I've done them before, but I wouldn't recommend you do it because I've gotten bit by that hot line. And it's just anything electrical, it's probably not a good idea for you to be messing with. So my advice for you would be to hire an expert, maybe even somebody that's licensed and or has insurance on their business. That'd be the ideal way to go about doing it. I don't think you need permits to swap out outlets, but don't take my word for it.
I was just say check your local.
Check with local because each place could be different. Some places may say, no, it does. We don't care. Others say if you touch anything electrical, we want to know about it.
Even the light fixtures.
Even the light fixtures, right?
Yeah,
so that's another great point. Check with your local people. They may say, hey, you can put a ceiling fan in, no problem. We don't need a permit for that, but you never know. And Mike and I, don't ever want to be given advice that's going to be counterintuitive to the laws or your safety.
It goes against
anything like that, guys. We want to try to be as ethical and moral and straightforward as we possibly can.
And just as helpful. So, and that's what I was glad you were going to say that is that, the covers, and sometimes we'll do that on our rentals. We'll literally just change the covers out,
yeah.
And they're white, and then the outlets are a little bit faded, a little bit yellowish looking because they're older, or that ivory,
Yeah, ivory.
So
right.
it doesn't
great
look
point.
great, but
great color.
It kind of looks better.
It looks cleaner.
Again,
it looks cleaner. But I really love the light fixtures, guys. That's just like, flooring, paint, light fixtures, boom. I mean, sometimes that's it. We're done, right? At least on the inside. Mm-hmm. Now, on the outside, we're going to always want to like clean up the gutters and the exterior just view from the street, a curb appeal. So we want to do any cleanup before we're not typically planting flowers. Let's put it that way.
Addition by subtraction.
There you go.
I like
that. But we will
This
remove what looks ugly. So we're going to make it prettier by just cleaning up the outside.
I'd say 9 times out of 10, properties that need a little bit of work are just overgrown. Literally, nobody's done anything landscaping-wise in years. So literally just ripping everything that's next to the house out and maybe just dumping a couple of barrels or wheelbarrows full of mulch.
Yeah, or even bags.
A couple bags of mulch.
Bags of mulch for
Exactly.
$5, 50 or not 50, like 20 or 30 bags of mulch goes a long way. It's like, $80, $100, right? So that goes a long way. It may not look great forever, but you're going to get yourself a couple.
Addition by subtraction.
Addition by subtraction, right?
Clean everything out. Yeah, outside overgrown. You don't necessarily want to add. Plants get expensive. Trees are expensive.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to be adding that stuff in. If your tenants want to do that, and a lot of them, I mean, not a lot, but some of them do. They like to garden and put stuff in. More power to them.
Right.
Again, but don't spend the money on it. Clean it up by removing things that are overgrown, trimming back any bushes or hedges that are overgrown. Again, just addition by subtraction outside is my motto or just mantra. Just take stuff out, clean it up. Similar thing goes for, I'm going to go back inside. A lot of times in basements is addition by subtraction. More often than not, we really just want to clean up basements. Just get stuff out of the basements. You don't necessarily want to spend a ton of money building walls and constructing things down in the basement, finishing basements. You don't get the same return as you do on other projects. So that's outside. We talked a little basement. We talked most of the main rooms. Let's talk kitchens and baths real quickly. Kitchens are definitely, I'd say probably the most difficult thing to manage in terms of what to do for a rental versus a flip. A flip is easy. If you're trying to get a full high ARV, you're just going to gut it, pull all the cabinets out, open up walls.
Here's the way I look at it. What in this kitchen hasn't been either added or updated in the last 2 years? 2. If it's beyond that, pull it all out.
That's pretty fair.
Put it in, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, that means it's basically new. If it's a couple years out and it's a flip, 9 times out of 10, you're going to gut it all the way out. It will obviously depend on the current condition. There has been flips where we'll leave countertops, we'll leave cabinets, and we'll do just the countertops. but we lost money on
It doesn't
that.
go well usually.
That was one of 2 deals that we didn't make money on out of 500, guys. So, yeah, typically, though, gutting a kitchen is the way to go and just starting over.
You know, I want to just harp on this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know why we didn't make money?
We paid too much.
We did not buy it right.
Yeah.
That's
That's why we always would always
we,
not make
we
money.
Tried to cut
which has only happened twice.
We tried to cut corners, and we couldn't make money on the deal. We lost money because we paid too much for the house.
Yeah, we thought
Every
that
time.
the rehab would have been less, and we thought our ARV was higher. Either way, we paid too much. However you look at it, you always make your money when you buy. You get paid when you sell. Love it.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so let's go back to kitchens. So it's difficult in our rentals to really decide where to draw the line. My brain, at least more recently anyways, thinks if I can save cabinets, I don't want to replace cabinets. If they are close, if they have the ability to be saved, meaning the doors are in decent shape and they still swing, they're not falling off. Same thing with the drawers, especially. If they pull out and stop and they close easily, I want to keep them. I do not want to replace cabinets. It's just an extra cost that I just feel is not worth spending. Couple reasons why. One, when you pull out the cabinets, that means you're going to have to redo all of the plumbing underneath too.
Yeah.
The sinks. I don't want to do that.
Basically means you're going to need a permit.
Yeah. I want to do as little as possible. What can you do though to clean up the rentals? We love painting the cabinets. So you've got 2 options. If it's wood and it looks kind of clean, send somebody in to clean it, and then add some polyurethane to it. So that's going to make it look new. Then you can add some new handles on it. So you're talking
shine it up, baby.
Maybe
Shine it up.
$150, $200 worth of materials in cabinet or in handles and in the polyurethane. The other option is to paint them and add new cabinets. So white is very popular for current kitchen cabinets. We put a lot of white cabinets in our flips and our rentals when we have to put new cabinets in. Guess what? It's very easy to paint old cabinets white. So, because again, it's matching. So the back gets painted and the doors get painted. So then they are white, new, either chrome or stainless or the
Hardware.
Exactly, hardware on it. Done.
And let's talk pro tip on hardware, guys. Hardware is expensive.
Give it away, man.
Man, so like, Mike, you're the one that orders it.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Amazon that we go through?
Mm-hmm.
We buy most, if not all, of our hardware on Amazon. Not only for the rentals, but the flips too. Some hardware is $5 or $6 a pop. So you got 30 cabinets. That's $5 times 30. You're looking at $100 in hardware, and that might not even include the drawers or whatever else. So we buy it off Amazon. We've gotten it for like maybe $1 or $2 a pop. And there's really no reason that hardware should cost that much.
Well, and here's the thing. We are more of a quantity type of operation, meaning we want to do more than one rental, and we want to do more than one flip. So we're not spending a ton of time going in and picking out specific materials for a specific project. So we found we like the bar. I just think of 2 different types of cabinet pulls. You've either got a bar or the little knob. So that's all I really look for. And we know that the chrome ones are about $3 a pop or $5 a pop at the hardware stores. Whereas if I go on Amazon, I can find a similar one. Now it's hollow inside, still metal, but it's about $1. Like, to me, if I can get something that looks like it's worth about $6 or $8 for $1, I'm going to do that every time. So we order in bulk all of our cabinet pulls from Amazon. Super easy. Done. So again, you take something for a couple $100 worth of materials, now it becomes maybe $100 worth of total materials, and you've got almost a brand new looking kitchen.
I like it.
So kitchen. Next thing is countertops and appliances. Sometimes we do that, sometimes we don't. I prefer, if we're going to keep cabinets, to try to keep the countertops, but if they're dented up, if they're old laminate, get them out of there. Put in a new countertop. Couple $100.
Now appliances, we like to recycle if it's a rental property. So if we buy it with appliances that aren't terrible, we're gonna keep them. If they are really bad, then what we'll do is we'll buy a set of appliances that all match at a discount. Basically, we'll go to a discount place, or we'll go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and we'll look for a sale that has something running, where you can get the microwave, the dishwasher, the stove, and the fridge. Sometimes we will actually exclude the dishwasher on purpose. Some of them have them, some of them don't. Also, the garbage disposal is something that sometimes on a
good
rental
point.
we won't add because it just creates a maintenance item. Every property I turn over, I feel like there's glass or plastic or something in those garbage disposals. Almost every time I'm in a property, I reach my hand in there just to check them out. There's something in there almost every time, so you can eliminate that completely by just removing the garbage disposal.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Dave. So I forgot. I mean, when Dale goes in and does some of the rental work, if we're playing around with the sink or anything under there and there is a garbage disposal, we're taking it out.
Take it out.
We're never going to leave them just because, like you said, it's just a problem. It's another appliance they're going to call you about and you're going to have a work order on.
Right.
They don't need it.
But when we do buy the appliances, let's say that we get a house that has them and they're great, we'll keep them. But if we get a house that doesn't have them at all or they suck, we'll take them out and we will try to find cheap appliances that all match. And that's really kind of where we're at. We don't go. Do we buy the lowest end?
No.
Maybe one or two up.
It's usually
but
one grade up from like the low. If you're going new at
Right.
like at a big box store, yes, then we're going to go like one grade above the cheapest because normally the cheapest ones, they're there for a reason.
yeah, they suck.
It's the budget one that it's just not going to last quite as long. So you want to get maybe one step up from that, and yeah, that's usually what we do.
That's where we're at.
One thing I want to say on countertops, I forgot I saw this on one of our Facebook groups. People were talking about the countertops, and they put in a laminate, which is a cheap, it's the wood with a laminated top over. If you're not familiar with laminated, it's when you knock on it, it sounds like wood.
It's basically most countertops that you would buy at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Granite
Right.
is going to be your laminate countertop. So
sometimes they look kind of like granite, but it ain't.
This is exactly what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about how the countertop, it didn't match up. The pattern didn't match up. And should they be upset with the contractor? And my thought was, you have no idea what you're talking about. This is a laminate countertop. Of course it's not, the pattern of the stone isn't going to match up.
Oh, like on the corners?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a laminate countertop. If you want
They didn't cut it in an L. They had two long pieces and they cut 45s on both and they connected them.
Yeah, and they were upset that the contractor did it. I'm like, man,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
just
want it to match up,
inexperience.
and that's what we do is we have a more solid pattern. It's a pretty black pattern is my preferred. I know Bill uses one of the marbled ones, like the gray and white. I just prefer the black because there's almost no pattern to it. So you just got bam, just always matches.
Yeah, it
up,
always
looks
matches.
clean.
Right.
And again, so that's what I prefer. But everybody's got their own preference. Why do we not use granite? Just cost.
Yeah, it just costs. Sometimes we'll use the thin granite if we're trying to get a higher appraisal on it, but typically we don't.
Rare.
Pretty rare, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty rare we're going to put granite in the rentals. Now, and I know some landlords that are very different, and they say, oh, I put it in all of them because it holds up and it's never going to get whatever. Well, people can ship granite.
Yeah, oh yeah.
People don't take care of
yeah.
it. You can mess granite
The guys
up.
putting it in sometimes break it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
Again, that's
If
just...
you ever have anybody getting up on the counter and standing for any reason, you're going to have, you're...
100%. Or if they, again, who knows? I mean, big old heavy...
Don't try to tell me you don't stand on your countertops. Come on.
Everybody does.
I feel like I'm up on my counters at least once a month trying to dig to the back of a cabinet or something, right? Like, come on. Or if we're drinking and it's Friday night, you never know.
People are sitting up
Somebody
there.
may be
you
up there,
know?
right?
Exactly.
So yeah, just go with the durable stuff. So that's the kitchen though. Let's not overthink it. Next is the bathrooms. We've already talked about the floors and the paint. Toilets, you can only clean a toilet so much. So if you're buying a property and it's disgusting, swap it out.
What's funny about toilets, too, is
they're cheap.
Well, and they've changed. It's so funny because toilets used to be all these little circular things.
Yeah.
Now, almost all...
elongated
bowls with a little bit higher seat height.
It's more comfortable.
It's much more common. It just looks like it's been
Yeah, they
updated.
hold more water, but not only in the reservoir, but in the bowl itself. I don't want to get too detailed here.
But they
flush better, and that's the point. Right. So toilets, you're talking, a couple $100. Swap them out. If they're gross, it's not even worth trying to clean them sometimes. Vanities also are really inexpensive. And depending on the size of a bathroom, sometimes you can put in a smaller vanity, but it has a bigger bowl, meaning that the size of where the water is and is collected may not even be smaller, but the vanity itself is. So it can make a bathroom look larger. Regardless, vanities, they're really inexpensive. So I'd say replace the toilet, replace the vanity if it needs it, of course. Last but not least, we have our tub, our mirror, and our lighting. So mirrors are cheap. If we buy a house and it has a mirror, we typically don't replace it. Why would we do that unless it's broken or dirty, right?
And if you're talking of it's just mirror.
Just mirror.
Right. But then sometimes it's got a wood frame around it that looks all old or is a funny color. You can pop those out, like you said,
Pop them
relatively
out.
inexpensive.
Or just paint it whenever you're painting the walls. Maybe give it a white trim or something like that, right? The light fixtures we probably had already done with the rest of the house. We won't need to mess with that. All bathrooms should have a fan. But that's one thing that we look for when we're buying properties, not only to rent out, but to flip, is does it have a fan and is that fan vented properly? You're not really supposed to vent a fan up into your attic. It's actually supposed to be vented through the roof. So just kind of be aware of that. If you do have a fan that's vented up into the attic, you may have mold issues. Whatever. Last but not least, in the bathroom will be the tub and the walls. So sometimes when we're buying properties that we decide to rent, or they've already been rented for several years, they may not have had any major renovations done, and they may have those old green or yellow or pink tiles. I think it kind of depends where you live, because there's older parts of the country that had maybe been doing more construction during those fads than, maybe other parts. Like I doubt you're going to see a whole lot of those pink tiles up in, maybe though, on the West Coast, maybe.
I bet you see more of them.
Maybe you do. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Either way, we can glaze those tiles, and we can also glaze the tubs, assuming the tub is a ceramic tub. And really what that means is if you have these old pink, orange, yellow, gross-looking tiles, and or a ceramic tub that's maybe got some rust on it or it's starting to just look dirty, you can clean them up, sand them down, and you can actually paint them with what's called a glaze. And all it is a paint that dries rock hard, so you can't necessarily like scratch or chip it as easy as you would like some paint on the wall. It's not a latex-based paint. It's something else. It's like a ceramic-based paint or something.
I honestly don't know. All I know is that it's
maybe an epoxy-based. Who knows? But it dries super rock hard, and it's also really, really good for water resistance. Like if you throw paint or water on a wall with paint on it, you do it a couple times. Eventually, that water is going to get through that paint into that wall. Well, with this particular type of glaze, it's water-resistant type paint, so it can make a old tub or old walls in a bathroom look brand new. With just a simple coat.
Right. So that is good for a cosmetic. So then here's the fine line of difference on that. If the tub and the tile are in decent shape, like it's not falling apart or like mold's eating through it, just looks absolutely terrible, then this is a great option. Another way this can help you save money, though, is if maybe a couple tiles have fallen off, but it doesn't look like there's water damage or anything behind there. You can get mismatched tiles, meaning mismatched colors.
Yeah.
Get them put in. Have it glazed, and it's all going to be white or gray or whatever color.
Yeah, and typically the guys you hire to do it, they have like 40 tiles in their truck, of different sizes, to where if they need to patch a couple, they can make that work. But that's a great point, Mike. Or you can just go buy the same size tile. Who cares what color it is? And then you're going to glaze all of those tiles. So start with the toilet and the vanity. If you have to replace them, go for it. Also, whenever you pull the toilet up, it's a great time to put the flooring in the bathroom. You can always use the vinyl planks and cut around it, but it's going to look the best if it's sitting on top of it. It's also going to be the most secure. It's not going to be wobbly. Start with the flooring and then do the toilet, maybe the vanity. Glaze the tub and or the walls if, as Mike said, they're in great condition and it's ceramic and you can do so. If it's like a plastic tub or maybe a fiberglass tub, you may be able to bleach it and clean it real good. Otherwise, you may have to just pull it out and swap it out, put a new one in. Tub surrounds are also really great ways to save on costs. You can sometimes put tub surrounds in over existing ones, or you can just rip them out and put them in. And basically, you just use like some really contractors grade adhesive and caulk. That's it. I mean, it's very, very, very simple. You could probably watch a couple YouTube videos to learn how to do it and be a pro that quick. It's nothing to it.
One thing I did, which I will never recommend, is using someone like a bath fitters.
Yeah, you're just going to pay more than you should.
Thousands of dollars. Now, again, if you have a tenant living there and they're saying, oh, this is really bad, yada, yada, you don't have many options if that's their only bathroom and you need to get a new tub in. Like it's very, very difficult to have. I mean, it would
just
almost be impossible.
Turning over a bathroom in like 1 or 2 days is tough,
Yeah.
especially if you're ripping out a tub, because typically the tub.
It's wall to wall in most of these little bathrooms.
Yeah, and you got to think typically the tub is sitting on the subfloor, and the ledges of it are underneath the tile and or
The drywall.
the drywall and or the surround. So basically, what I'm saying is if you have to rip a tub out, you're basically gutting that part of the bathroom. So gutting the rest is either going to be simple or so on and so forth.
Right.
But
So love those bath fitters, guys, when you absolutely
you
need
need 'em.
to.
Right.
But it's going to cost you significantly more. And again, it's just not, in my opinion, quite as good as having a new tub installed.
Yeah. The last thing I would really mention, Mike, and you may have some other things, of course, would be maybe a couple water fixtures if necessary. They're kind of like light fixtures. Usually your water fixtures are going to be a little bit more expensive than your light fixtures. Not necessarily, but they will make a big difference. If all the faucets in your house are 60 years old, hey, maybe it'd be a good idea in a time to go upgrade or update some of those faucets. You're not going to typically have a lot of water fixtures, which is a good thing.
Well, and that's...
At least it's not as many as light fixtures, unless you have
Yeah.
a 47-bathroom house.
So relatively inexpensive, and we prefer to use the name brands. So we like to use the
Kohlers
and the Moens because, again, buy it for looks, buy it for life, that sort of thing. They just last a little bit longer. Like, they hold up better. So there's nothing worse than when a tenant moves in and then they've got a leaky freaking faucet 6 months later, 3 months later.
Yeah, well, and the thing that sucks is it's in our best interest to replace those because some tenants won't call. And then and then it's leaking under the cabinet, and then before you know it, that whole thing's rotted out.
Or you're paying the water bill or the sewer bill.
Exactly.
So I literally went into a property that I was selling. This was the little 4-family I just sold.
Mm-hmm.
And it was in one unit, and I thought the sink was on. It was just running water.
And it was just, that was it. That was in the off position.
He's like, yeah. And I said, oh, hey, you got a leaky sink or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, I was going to call about that. I forgot.
How long has it been running?
A couple
a
weeks.
Year?
Yeah, like, Jesus. I mean, again, not even just your wasting water thing. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did he not pay the water bill? Is that why you didn't care?
No, 'cause
that's
it's an
why.
apartment
That's
building.
why he didn't care.
Don't care at all. Like,
yeah.
how do you not care at all?
I know. So yeah, guys. Other
crazy.
than that, though, like other thing I would say maybe, and this isn't even necessarily required, but baseboards and doors. Doors relatively inexpensive. They can be. Baseboards are going to typically cost a little bit more because it's going to be kind of laborious. But if you are using the BRRRR strategy, let's say for example, and you don't need a new bed, you don't need a new kitchen or new bathrooms, but you have to do some updates, to show the bank that you have made significant updates to the property, putting in new doors and or trim like the door frames / baseboards can really, really make a house look great. Now, again, not required. Mike and I don't do this on every property. In fact, it's probably only like maybe 1 in 5 to 1 in 7 that we're messing around with the doors and the baseboards. But it is a great way to make a property look new and updated for relatively inexpensive.
So it used to always be the 6-panel doors.
Yeah,
would
like
be
$40 for a
'cause
6-panel door.
It used to be like the cheap doors are the flat ones. So a lot of times you just get a solid flat door, be like a cheap one in an older home. So 6-panel is always, my dad used to always talk about, I think it was 15, 20 years ago. It's like, oh, we're going to get added 6-panel doors. They look so nice, yada, yada. Well, it's funny because it's changed now.
It's flip-flopped.
6-panel doors, again, are relatively inexpensive. But again, they look better than the flat doors.
Mm-hmm.
But for our flips, 6-panel is not even what you use anymore. I feel like it's the 2-panel, or I don't even know what they're called. That's what I was just Googling.
Yeah, it's something just a little bit different.
Well, it says 2-panel shaker, or what's this? This is a 4-panel slab. So, and then what do you have at your house? Don't you have the ones where it's kind of round looking on the interior?
Yeah, mine are 2-panel shakers.
Yeah, it's two. Is it shaker like that?
Solid though.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
solid
anyways,
wood doors, right?
On the
pay a little
rental,
more
on
for
the
solid
rental,
core.
right? On a rental though, if you're gonna do upgrading the doors, it's probably 6-panel again, just because they're pretty abundant at your big box stores. That makes them relatively inexpensive and easier to find.
Mm-hmm.
So the 6-panel look is probably what you're going to go for. And again, it does look nice. It's just it's not the high end like you would for maybe a flip.
Right.
So these are perfect for your rentals.
Yep. And that's it, guys. I mean, again, look at the curb. You know, from look at the house from the curb. Does anything major stick out, right? Mike said it really, really great earlier. We are going to do addition by subtraction. I think that was how the way he worded it. So what that could mean, too, is like if it has shutters and they're all like paint peeling, you might be better off just ripping the shutters off the house than trying to go paint them, sand them, replace them. You know, it's going to depend if there's fade marks behind them or not. You know, if it's on brick, maybe you just pull them off. You know, so the idea with the rental is to update/upgrade the property, but yet be cost effective and keep the costs on your mind. When we're doing our flips, 30, 40 grand, that might be a light rehab. You know, like we might easily spend 50 to 90 grand or more in some cases.
Oh, we spend a lot, yeah.
Yeah, but like on a rental though, I mean, our goal with a rental is, you know, to keep it somewhere between like 5 and 20. You
Exactly.
know?
I'd say 15K is a pretty good
Sure.
rental number.
But there are some you can buy and get into for less, 5 grand.
100%.
But yeah, you're gonna see less of those. But yeah, 5 to 20 is kind of where you're gonna want to be. You wanna shoot for materials that are gonna be somewhat bulletproof. You know, not completely, of course, but like have more resiliency to wear and tear than the other materials. So like if we ever are doing drywall work, you know, in particular places, we'll opt for the thicker drywall in some cases because it's going to be more bulletproof. We're going to use the floors that are going to be scratch and dent resistant, aka vinyl planks, you know, versus the hardwoods. The rentals, they don't have to shine per se to be able to get them rented, whereas those flips, they do because you're selling them.
I like that.
So you have different accents.
Yeah, you're kind of putting lipstick on it versus giving it a full makeover.
You're right. Giving it a bath, man.
Yeah,
It's like
clean
giving
it
it a
up.
bath.
Clean
Yeah,
that thing
exactly. Whereas when you do the full makeover, you're often gutting stuff down to studs / subfloor / breaking concrete out to run new drains and new plumbing and, you know,
Adding bathrooms.
yeah, exactly. It's a whole different ball game, especially on the outside. You know, when it's a rental, we're going to add by subtracting. But if it's a flip, we're going to not only subtract all the stuff that sucks, but we're also going to add stuff to make it look better. You know, mulch, maybe plants. You know, sometimes we'll replace soffit or gutters just because they're ugly. They may be just fine, but hey, for 2 or 3 grand, we can add some really nice, clean ones, and it may be worth it. So you're going to have different approaches to the rehab for a rental and rehab for a rehab. Keep it simple, though, guys. Don't overdo it. That's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I made in the beginning of my landlording endeavors was I would go in and I would rehab a property as if I was moving into it. And you know what? It's okay because I still own a lot of these, and when I go to sell them, I'm going to get a little bit more money than I would have if I would have done a slightly lower grade rehab. But you don't need to do it. So if I were to do it again, a lot of these, you know, rehabs that I did in the very beginning, I was putting in ceramic tile, and I was, you know, going and buying that faucet that was $260 that was like beautiful. And at the end of the day, one that was $120 would have done just fine. You know, so don't over rehab your rentals. I plead with you.
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing. Make it nice so that I think here's a great way to look at it, Dave. Not like you're going to live there. Rehab it to where if you had to live
there you go.
It would be.
Would it be sufficient?
Yeah, because again, we want nice homes for people. We're not trying to be a slumlord. But if you had to live there,
yeah, but you're talking a difference of $15,000 and $25,000 on your rehab budget by having nice materials. Like the labor is going to be pretty fixed. Maybe a little more for nicer materials because they may require a little bit more time to work around or work with. Definitely tile, you know. But in the scheme of things, though, that's a great way to look at it, Mike. If you had to live there, would it work for you? Don't rehab it to move in. Because that's kind of how I was looking at all of mine.
Me too. I used to.
I'm like, man, I don't want to live in this place like this. Like, let's do this, 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 and this. And before I knew it, I had 10 things that weren't even necessary that were just getting updated. Again, not a terrible thing, but if I could do it over again, I wouldn't do that. Mike, you want to close us out? Any final words?
Let's just go back to you make your money when you buy. Make sure you guys buy at a discount. Buy good deals.
Buy good deals. You make your money when you buy, you get paid when you sell. Signing off.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.